Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel for part 2 of this video series where we're going to be building Darth Vader's lightsaber in Onshape. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, I highly recommend doing so. In today's video we're going to be building some of the upper details and some of the more iconic details to Darth Vader's lightsaber, so let's get started. And we're going to come on over to the front view and we're going to create a new sketch right on this front view real quick. And just a rectangle right at the bottom, right underneath this kind of like black section. And we're going to go ahead and add our dimensions. This bottom edge is going to be 0.8 inches, and this side one is going to be 0.225 inches. And then we have to dimension the locations of it. So this is going to be just right off of this bottom edge of this little, I guess, notch over here. This is going to be 0.03 inches, and then in terms of its horizontal dimension, we have to kind of add this in. It's a little weird. This will be 0.025, and just like that, we have our little rectangle. Hit OK on our sketch, and we're going to move on to the extrude. We're going to extrude this little rectangle that we just created, and the depth is going to be 0.25 inches. And momentarily we're going to be creating a part 2, but we'll deal with that in a sec. And make sure you have symmetric clicked. And once you're done with all that, hit OK. And we've done, so basically what we're going to be doing is we're creating a little handle for Darth Vader for his lightsaber. And so we momentarily created a second part, which is just like this rectangular prism. But we want to add this little bottom face. We want to attach it to the top part. We're going to do that by thickening it so that it just attaches back, and we want to merge it with everything. Right, once we've done that, it's going to make sure this part is not going to be attached to part 1. I'm going to hit OK. And for both of these little extrudes and thickens, I'm going to go ahead and add an appearance and make it the custom black color that we created in part 1. I'm going to hit OK, and like that we've added this little second part. And then we're going to come on over to the bottom of this handle. I'm going to hit P on my keyboard to make all the faces disappear again. I'm on the bottom now, and we're going to add some circles. We're going to add some buttons and some other details to this handle, because right now it's kind of boring, so we got to add a little bit of detail to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it on the bottom part of this rectangular prism, and I'm going to add a few circles to it. First, I'm just going to start off with one, making sure it's aligned with the midpoint, and just add that circle in right there. Let's move this out real quick so we can dimension it a little better. And let's dimension this like so. Let's try that again. Right here. And all the way out. And this is going to be 0.01 inches. Right, and that just bloomed up, so let's go ahead and change this to 0.115 inches. Alright, and that's exactly what we're looking for. And then I'm going to come over to linear pattern, because we want 6 circles, not just one. And this is going to be 0.135, and instead of 3 we want it 6 times. Just like that, we have 6 circles. I'm going to go ahead and left click on my keyboard, and we are good. Hit OK. And now we have to make these buttons. Right now they're just circles. We have to make these 3D objects, and the perfect way to do that is through an extrude. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude, sketch 6, and we're going to move this up 0.03 inches. And like that, we have 6 little buttons right there. But they're kind of sharp. We want to kind of, make these more smooth. And the perfect way to do that is through fillets. So I'm going to go ahead and hit all of these little edges on the top of our buttons. And for a sec, it's going to show up as red. We're going to fix that in a sec. We want these fillets to be 0.05 inches. And we want to remove allow edge overflow, and that should fix all our errors. And bam, now we got 6 round buttons. And so yeah, that looks pretty good now. Now we're going to come on over to the front view and add the final notch on our handle. That's going to happen on this little front part of this handle that we created. And I'm going to come on over to the circle tool, and I'm going to align to the center. And Onshape makes this easy for us. We're just going to hover over the top part until we see the midpoint. We're going to hover over here until we see the midpoint, and then we're going to kind of drag over, and then Onshape will know that we're looking for the center by highlighting the 2 things in orange. I'm going to create a first circle, which is going to be 0.1 inches, and then the second circle, which is 0.15 inches, and like that we have 2 circles. They're going to be the blueprints of our notch. I'm going to hit OK now, and we're going to move on. Then I'm going to extrude this outer ring of our two circles, this outer section. I'm going to go ahead and extrude that 0.25 inches. Okay. Once we got that, that's our little outer circle for our notch. Now we want to do the middle section. I'm just going to go ahead and hit thicken that little center section. Let's go ahead and make this, instead of 0.25, let's go make this 0.15 inches. Right, hit OK. Right, and so now we're almost done with our notch. Once again, we just have to make the top part smooth with a fillet. So we're going to hit that top section, and we're going to add a fillet of 0.05 inches. And like that, we just kind of smooth it all around and create a really nice looking notch. And with that, we've added our middle section details to Darth Vader's lightsaber. Alright, now let's begin working on some of the upper details to Darth Vader's lightsaber. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come on over to the right view, and I'm going to start a sketch right on this upper circle right here. I'm going to start with a circle right off of the origin, and let's make this 0.85 inches. Okay, and then once we've got that, we're going to come on over with the line tool, and we just want a nice line tangent to the circle. Let's make this 0.5 inches. And let's repeat the same thing on the other side. Just tangent to the circle, 0.5 inches. Okay, and then let's go ahead and connect these two lines with a line that's 0.85 inches long. Right, and then I'm going to come on over to the trim tool and just trim the top part of the circle until we have like this nice shape over here. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK on that sketch, and then we're going to go ahead and extrude this sketch that we just created. But let me just go ahead and click on the sketch instead. Alright, but instead of up, let's go down. And instead of 1 inch, let's make this 0.25 inches. Downward. Once I go ahead and do that, I'm going to add an appearance to the feature. Let's make this a custom black color. And now we have the top part of our lightsaber almost complete. I'm going to come on over to the front view. Right, I'm going to go ahead and add my planes back by hitting P. And now I'm going to start a sketch on the front view. Or not, instead of on the front view, let's actually do it right here. It'll make it easier. So right on this little face, so we created like this rectangular kind of shape. Attached to the semicircle. Right on that, we're going to create a sketch on that face. And then we're going to go ahead and create a rectangle. So let's go ahead and hit the rectangle tool. Let's start off from this bottom corner. And start up. So retry that rectangle. So let's actually start from this top corner and work down. Make sure this is a corner rectangle. Let's start up over here. Let's make this rectangle again. And so the first dimension should be 0.225 inches, and the second one should just be 0.3 inches. Right, and now once we have that rectangle, I'm going to come on over to this, should be the 3-point arc. That's the one. We'll start off from this bottom corner and move our way to the top corner. Or not top corner, but kind of the corner over here. And let's make this 0.2 inches. Alright, and then let's go ahead and make this dimension over here 0.055 inches. Perfect. Now, we're going to go ahead and hit OK on this sketch, and we're going to come on over to extrude. We're going to extrude this face backward again, and let's go ahead and make this, let's add this to part 1. So let's go ahead and add merge with part 1, perfect. And then this extrude should be 0.85 inches long. Just the same length as that before. Hit OK, and that's already black, so that's perfect. Let's lose the planes again. And so now we have like kind of this little other section of our lightsaber. It looks pretty good so far. Now I'm going to come back onto the top. I'm going to go ahead and hit right on this little cube over here. I'm going to come on over to the top of our lightsaber. I'm going to start a new sketch right on that top plane. And I'm going to once again come on over with 2 circles starting from the origin. First one is going to be 0.675 inches. And then the second one is going to be 0.725 inches. Right, and then once that's good, I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then we'll go ahead and extrude this outer ring section 0.85 inches. Okay, I'm gonna hit OK. We kind of have this nice little ring coming out. Let's also make this black, so I'm gonna go ahead and add an appearance to this feature and make this black in color. Hit OK. And now in Darth Vader's lightsaber, we have kind of this top part cut off, right? It's kind of like a semi-cylindrical shape. So we're going to come on over to the front view, and that's exactly what we're going to try doing. I'm going to go ahead and add our planes back in, and I'm going to create a new sketch on the front plane, right in the center of our little lightsaber. And this part, there's going to be a bit more guesswork involved. I'm just going to kind of create a trapezoidal shape, just a general shape, and then we'll add some of the dimensions in later. So just a nice little trapezoidal shape. Let's go ahead and Control Z. Create a new line right between these two figures. And I want to make this line horizontal and this line that's already horizontal. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and add some of our dimensions. So this should be 0.75 inches. This should be 0.05 inches. And now we want to add a dimension before it gets a little too sticky. Let's go make this 0.018 inches. And since now it's below, let's make this negative to make that line kind of above it. Alright, and then let's make this dimension over here 0.55 inches. Okay, and now we want some of this line underneath too, right? So I'm just going to move this over, making it easier to dimension until we find it that it's nice and equal on both sides. Right, that looks about good. I'm going to hit OK on the sketch, and now I'm going to go ahead and extrude this sketch, but we're going to be cutting. So let's go to remove. Looks like it didn't. Select. That's the face, and we're going to make this symmetric. Instead of blind, we'll make this through all. Right, and once we do that, we have this top section removed. Let's go ahead and lose the planes. And I'll go ahead and add an appearance on this face real quick. Just on this little top section, and make this the custom black color so it matches in with the rest. And like that, we've added that little top section for Darth Vader's lightsaber. Alright, so we've gone ahead and added some of the major parts for the top, but now we have to go ahead and add some details to it, because right now it's a little bit boring. So I'm going to come on over to the right view, which is technically the top of our lightsaber, and I'm going to create a new sketch on this little face right over here. And I'm going to start off with a rectangle, and I'm not going to attach it to any sides here. I'm just going to create it in the middle, and I want the midpoint of this rectangle to match up with the midpoint of this line over here. So I'm going to click on midpoint. I'm going to find the midpoint over here on the top line, and then I'm going to click on this edge, and just like that, the two midpoints match up. Now we can go ahead and add dimensions. I want this to be 0.3 inches and this to be 0.4 inches. Right, and we want this rectangle to cut into this little, I guess, cylindrical shape. Not fully, but just a little bit it wants to cut in. So we have like this rectangular shape that will right on the outside. And I'll show you what this means in a little bit. So we have this shape now, and we're going to go ahead and extrude just the outside face, not whatever cuts in, just the outside face. And we're going to extrude it 0.3 inches. And once we've done that, we can go ahead and hit OK. And just like that, we have like this rectangular shape that rides on the outside of this cylindrical shape. I'm going to go ahead and add appearance to this feature and make it this custom black color, so everything is black. Perfect. Now that we've done that, we can move on to this little face, and we can add some of the buttons that make Darth Vader's lightsaber Darth Vader's lightsaber. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on this face right over here. And we're going to go ahead and create two circles. This first one is going to be the center of this, kind of like this rectangle number 1, and we'll call this rectangle number 2. So the first circle will be in the center of this, and we can use the midpoints of the two lines on the outside and find the center. And Onshape will tell us where that is, and we're going to go ahead and make this 0.15 inches in radius, and then we're going to go ahead and find this one, and then this will be this one will be 0.075 inches. Right, and so that's just kind of like the bottom of our two buttons. So we've gone ahead and done that. Then I'm going to go ahead and extrude our sketch 13, which is our two little circles over there, and we're going to go ahead and extrude them 0.05 inches. Right, and then we're going to go ahead and create two more circles on top of these for the top parts of our buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on one of these circles. on one of these cylinders, and I'm going to come on over to the circle tool again, and we're going to create a circle which is 0.2 inches, and then we're going to create another one over here. This one is going to be 0.125 inches. All right, perfect. And then I'm going to come on over once again to the extrude, and I'm going to extrude this outside and the inside part just to get a nice little cylinder. I guess a bigger one on top, and this one is going to be 0.05 again. Hit OK, and then we're going to go ahead and extrude. Let's go and show sketch 14, which had our circles. We're going to go ahead and extrude this one, and this will be 0.025 inches. Let's wait for that to load. Perfect. Now we have our two little buttons, and we can go ahead. Let's go ahead and hide sketch 14, and now we can go ahead and smooth some of these edges off with the fillet tool. And so I'm going to come on with the fillet tool, and I'm going to choose this bottom edge for both of our buttons, and we're going to go ahead and add a fillet of 0.01 inches. That's good. And then we're going to go ahead and add another fillet on the bottom section of the top section of our first button, right over here on that edge, and we're going to go ahead and create that fillet to be 0.05 inches. Perfect, and kind of rounds off that bottom edge. And now we're going to go ahead and create a fillet in a different location from the other one. We're going to create it on the outside face over here, and this fillet is going to be 0.0125 inches, and it's just going to round the whole button just like so on the entire outside, and that's perfect. And just like that, we created a few buttons for Darth Vader's lightsaber and this really cool little rectangular piece. Then we're going to go in the next section. We're going to go ahead and add the outer ring for Darth Vader's lightsaber. Okay, so now we are on the final part of making this hilt. All we have to do is add a little ring to the top of this section right over here. So we're going to come on over to the front view, and we're going to add a circle here first to kind of create like the, I guess, the area where the ring will fit into the hole. So I'm just going to come on over here, come on over to the circle tool and find the center of this little rectangle and create a circle with a radius of 0.075 inches. Hit OK. And then I'm going to go and remove this little circle from it, and 1 inch sounds good. I'm not really putting a dimension because I just want it to go all the way through. We can just go through wall though for right now. So this is going to go through the entire block. Just go back on that. That should just be right over there. Perfect. Right, and I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. I don't know why this is coming so many times. Perfect. Now that we've got the hole, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go add the center points of both of these circles, which will make it easier when we add our plane, which I'll explain in a second. So for right now, we're going to go ahead and go to sketch off of this circle right here, and I'm going to come to this point right here, and I'm just going to go mark the center of this circle right there. Perfect. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side for this circle here. I'm going to come on over to the back. I'm going to add a sketch, and I'm going to point right where the circle is, and it's going to be in the same location because I mean the centers are going to be on the same point on both sides. I'm going to hit OK over there, and that should be good. I'm going to come back to the front view now, and we're going to create a plane that goes through this rectangular prism, which will make it easier to create our sweep path for our ring. So I'm going to come on over to the front, and I'm going to come over to this plane icon, and instead of offset, we're going to do plane point. And I'm going to go ahead and P on my keyboard to bring back the planes, and you'll see why in a sec. And so for a plane point, it's going to take two parameters, a point and a plane. And so that's why we have the center point. So that's going to be my point. And then for my plane, I'm going to go ahead and choose the top plane. All right, those are our two parameters. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit P on my keyboard again to hide everything else. And now we'll have a plane cutting through this circle right here. I'm going to hit OK. And now we have our plane. I can show it again just for right now. And now that we've added our plane through there, now we can draw the sweep path for our ring. So I'm going to come on over to the top view. I'm going to create a sketch on that plane one that we just created. I'm going to come on over to the line tool and create a line between these 2 points. That looks good. And then I'm going to come on over to 3-point arc, which is over here. And then I'm going to start on this, I guess the top one. And then we're going to come on over to the bottom. And then we'll just come on with an arbitrary radius for right now. And then we'll add the dimension of 0.275 inches. And that is perfect. Right? And so yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm going to hit OK. And then for our sweep now, I'm going to come on over here to sweep. And so for my face, I'm going to go ahead and choose the face that we have by our center, our circle here from before. That can go ahead and that work for to create the hole in our block. Now we can also use it as this, I guess, the face for our sweep. And then for our sweep path, I'm going to choose this line and this, I guess, semicircle. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to hit OK. And now we have this little ring. I'm going to edit appearance, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is that gray color from before. I'm going to hit OK, and now we have this little ring up here. Okay, so now we're going to come on over here. I'm going to hit sketch and come on over to this back face and just angle it so that we can see this bottom section over here. And then I'll come on over to 3-point arc, and we're just going to create an arc like so that just looks like this. And in terms of radius, let's go 0.2. Looks a little big, but we can dimension it accordingly. So we're going to come on over. So we want this midpoint to be with the aligned with the midpoint of this arc over here. So I'm going to come on over to hit exit. I'm going to find the midpoint. I'm going to hit vertical, and then this midpoint right over here. So that lines up. All right, and then from this midpoint to here, I want that to be 0.125. Okay, and then finally, this to this should have a horizontal dimension of 0.2, and this to this should have a horizontal dimension of 0.2. Alright, and now that's looking pretty good. Now let's go ahead and just add a line from here to here. So we do that so it's perfectly horizontal, making sure that it touches the edges of this 3-point arc, and let's go ahead and make this 0.2. Perfect. And now we have our shape, and so what we're going to be extruding is just this outer thing and then this face as well. So this is the face that we're going to be extruding to add our next detail. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK on that sketch right there. I'm going to come on over to extrude, and I'm going to extrude that face 0.525 inches. Alright, once I do that, I'm going to hit OK, and I'm just going to real quickly add appearance to this and make it this custom black color. And then I'm going to go ahead and zoom out, and that looks pretty good. And now this is we're going to add the final button, the one that will activate the lightsaber. So I'm going to come on over to the top view, and I'm going to add the button right on this flat face. I'm going to come on over to sketch on this flat face, and we're going to make 2 circles. One over here, and one, the same, I guess, center point, but a bit bigger. Alright, I'm going to dimension this 0.12 inches from there. Alright, the internal ring should be 0.125 inches, and the external one should be 0.175 inches. Alright, once we've done that, we can go ahead and extrude and make our button. So the outer ring will be 0.02 inches in height, and the middle one shall be 0.03 inches. Once we've gone ahead and done that, I'll go add appearances to both of these extrudes and make them black. Hit OK. And finally, we have one last thing before our lightsaber hilt is all done. Let's go ahead and add a fillet on both of these and just round some of these edges and add a radius of 0.01 inches. And with that, and this fillet should also be black in color. With that, our lightsaber hilt is finally done. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and take this lightsaber hilt and we'll drag it into an assembly, and we'll give it all the features like the retractable blade and things like that. So stay tuned.